what in the fuck is going on in Cannon City? What is going on in Fremont County? What are you all doing? Now you got Deputy Tyler Matson, 26 years old. Tyler Matson, he's worked for 1 year as a detention deputy in the jail. He was placed on leave last Thursday after a complaint was filed with the sheriff's office last Tuesday. So that means there's a complaint, the sheriff has the complaint, and then this, so it's actually a good thing for the sheriff, right? Sheriff got a complaint, fired Tyler Matson, 26 years old, 26-year-old Tyler Matson. Who is Tyler Matson? What did he do? Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? You can't tell with this police, with this sheriff. This sheriff there's a petition that's going around right now that is trying to recall the sheriff, trying to kick him out. So you have a veteran that the Fremont County Sheriff's officers had singled out just because of who he was hanging out with. Then they asked the DA what she knew. She didn't know anything. Oh, I can't comment. Today we have not received the investigation. She's asking for more money because, due to the corruption, she's asking for money from the commission. The county commission pays the DA. That's a state office. The state needs to pay her. Why are you putting the payment on the commission, on the county taxpayers? And why is it more expensive to convict a police officer? If the police officer says, you're guilty, and he beats the shit out of you, and then he types it into his computer that you're wrong, right, with these fake DUIs that some of these guys are doing, you get right, she'll fuck you over like that, like it ain't shit, right? Sorry, I can't snap with my left hand. Molly Chilson, right, she's like, oh my gosh, you got to arrest another cop, there's going to be more charges, give me money, I don't have enough money to do this. You got to pay me more. Pay you more? You get paid enough. God, just do the same thing you do to every other person. So you had, Bruce Briscoe. He had messed around with a 17-year-old when he was a DARE officer. This had happened 18 years ago in 1999, and the 35-year-old is coming back now. Seems like a lengthy time. You have Sergeant Aaron Hart. I'm leaving the best for last, okay? So Sergeant Aaron Hart is placed on leave for these fake DUIs. So the GE Muse was riding around with Aaron Hart, and Aaron Hart was an arrogant, braggart piece of shit, just, bullying whoever the fuck he could. Aaron Hart, this guy is going around just giving everybody DUIs that don't deserve DUIs just because he's a bully. He don't give a shit about the truth. He's just going to, if he don't like you. This is why you got to have good police officers. You got to have good police officers. You give them all that power, and then they go around and just abusing their authority, and they're fucking people over that don't deserve to get fucked over. So GE Muse definitely saw something about how he was doing DUIs. And so Aaron Hart, he was something he's kicked out until the internal investigations comes back. He had been hired on for 4 years. And then you have Brandon Tilley. Brandon Tilley hit his child, allegedly, right? Hit his child so hard he get bruises on his legs, on his butt and on his legs. And so they called the Department of Human Services, and he's scheduled to appear in court June 19th. So Sheriff Jim Baker, he had been on the force for maybe 10, 20 years or so. There's 68 people in his department, and, they're being, fired. So in a way, that's a good thing, right? The sheriff he got a complaint by that jailer, fired the jailer. He got a complaint, from, Aaron Hart, or from this one troop, and, booted out Aaron Hart. And Brandon Tilley, it's the rule of law. He's beating his kid. He goes to jail just like anybody else would go. So Bruce Briscoe, while what he did was fucked up, it was 18 years ago, so I'm not for sure what his punishment should be. Something, right? But Robert Dodd, this is the fucking case. This is the case that we need some goddamn answers. Robert Dodd just retires, and what, we're just supposed to pretend like that didn't happen? Good article from Tracy Harmon. It says, from the Fremont County Law Enforcement Unrest Series. That's a good title. Okay, so what are we doing? What's going on here with Robert Dodd? Well, you have Candace Hiltz, okay? Candace Hiltz, remember that name, Candace Hiltz. Here's a picture. And actually, I got some other pictures, too, of who's all friends with this Robert Dodd. Take a look at Robert Dodd. You can tell he's a fucking corrupt piece of shit. You can tell he's dishonest, and he doesn't tell. You can tell he's a fascist fucking corrupt piece of shit. So Jim Beaker's been in there for quite some time. Now you have Robert Dodd. Beaker's the sheriff. Robert Dodd's, some lieutenant or some shit. 2006, Candace Hiltz is murdered. So 2006, Candace Hiltz is murdered. She's 17, 18 years old, and her family says that she had claimed that she saw the cops on the take because of this war on drugs. They were getting some money on the side and dealing drugs. They're getting the drugs to the drug dealers or protecting their drugs. They're on the take. She said, Candace Hiltz says to the deputy or the cop that was at the house, who remains unnamed, that she had seen them on the take. She had seen them take money from drug dealers. So as soon as she said that she saw them take money from drug dealers because they're trying to set her brother up, that's when a week later her dog is hung out and out in a tree, out in the woods or some shit, and then she's killed not a week later. So in Robert Dodd's storage bin. So Robert Dodd doesn't pay his storage bin bill, okay? And so it's Robert Dodd doesn't, this fat fuck right here, he doesn't pay, and who could he chase? Why would you ever get somebody like, this is the guy this is our muscle, this is the guy that we're going to, make sure he goes around stopping the bad people? Bullshit. This fat fuck can only fuck with good people, because if they're running, he ain't going to catch them. He's just going to fuck with the people that say, yes, officer, whatever you say, officer. So, Robert Dodd, he didn't pay his storage bill. He forgot to pay his storage bill. Or he just fucked, I don't know, maybe he forgot that he put all this shit in there. But the rope that was used to hang the dog, and then bloody socks, bloody rope, and some other shit that had to do with Candace Hiltz's murder was in his storage unit. So why did Robert Dodd go to the basement of the sheriff's office, take all that evidence, and keep it? What was Robert Dodd doing? We have this Mr. Ratzlaff. Mr. Ratzlaff was the one that found it in the storage unit. He saw some, light, cruiser light or something. So he bought the storage unit, opens it up, and he's like, what the fuck is all this bloody shit doing here? And it's Robert Dodd. So Robert Dodd took the evidence out of the basement of the sheriff's department. How was he able to do that? How could he have done that? Don't you lock that up? Was he allowed to take it home? Was he given to, why don't you go cover this up? And if he's covering it up, why is he saving it? Why is he hanging on to it? I don't understand it. None of this makes any goddamn sense. The only things that do make sense is if you're trying to cover something up, yeah, you would take evidence out of the, locker room. If you were the one that did the murder, yeah, you would also be taking the evidence out of the locker room. So Robert Dodd knows something. He is not a good man. He is a piece of shit. He should go down, be fired. Sleff is the one that found it, and then he talks to Beaker, and Beaker says, hey, you're not going to tell anybody about this. And then he says he gave Beaker permission, the sheriff, to access the storage unit. And then he says he comes back, and the whole thing is just ransacked. The whole thing's ransacked. He said everything was turned upside down and gone through. The evidence that he pointed out to me was gone. So what else was in there? What other things were they trying to make sure that wasn't there, right? Ransacked, go through the whole thing and make sure what? None of the other murders that were committed was, in Robert Dodd's old storage unit. He said he'd give it to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. I'm skeptical of this shit. What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm sorry, if I'm the sheriff and I got a deputy that's, killing people, I'm firing that deputy. If he's taking shit out of, the evidence room, you can't do that either. That's probably a fireable offense. You're not working on the investigation. What are you doing with this? Robert Dodd retired. Oh, he just retired April 23rd. And there was a retirement. I don't know where this picture was, but there's, a couple interesting folks there. Robert Dodd. Lieutenant Robert Dodd. We still respect Robert Dodd, but we're still going to put Lieutenant, right? Mr. Robert Dodd. No, fuck Robert Dodd. And he's going to retire, whatever. He's charged with abuse of public records. a misdemeanor, 2 counts of second-degree official misconduct, petty offenses. Petty offenses. Hey, you drive drunk, you got a fucking felony. You murder somebody and they find the evidence in your locker room or you're covering the murder up. That's a misdemeanor. Slap on the wrist. Get on out of here. Right, old Robert. You got Robert Dodd here, and Robert Dodd, he is getting $20,000. So he, was put on leave January 1st, and then April 23rd. So in the period of 4 months, he made $5,000. $5,000 per month. He made $20,000, $451 total for sitting on his fat ass. For sitting on his fat fucking corrupt ass. $20,000. You want some, the DA wants some more money. Well, shit, $20,000, I would think you getting fired would, stop you from being paid. But apparently he was just put on leave. He had a nice little paid vacation. Oh, what, you got some bloody socks? You got some bloody ropes and axe and all this fucked up shit in your locker? Here's $20,000. Take a load off. What the fuck you doing, Fremont County? Is that you guys good people? Aaron Hart, what he did, he took a handicapped person, or he took somebody who just had recent surgery and bad knees. She didn't want to do a roadside test. Aaron Hart said, I don't give a shit, you do this roadside test. And then he goes ahead and takes blood from her. Takes blood, he's intimidating her to do this. They were looking for marijuana, but they couldn't find anything. So they just said, okay, careless driving. So they hit her with something, right? They said she was weaving the biggest bullshit. If she's driving, I don't know. Give me some fucking evidence. I want to see the evidence of what the hell, Uyghur even did. She has no criminal record, no driving violations in the 10 years that she's lived here. And the case has been pending for about 5 months. So what the fuck, Aaron Hart? Oh, you tough guy, aren't you? Going around sitting, taking blood. This is another thing. So you're going to take blood test? You're going to take blood test away, just you're driving down the road. Now someone's taking your fucking DNA? That's not America. Something that hasn't got much coverage. Cheryl McDowell, her son, Brandon Atencio, was shot and killed by Cannon City police officers who were attempting to arrest him December 11th, 2014. Not two years ago. 2 years and 4 months. Atencio allegedly charged at the officers with the box cutter, right? Because if you got a box cutter in your hands and you see the law, men with guns coming up to you, yeah, of course, the first thing you do is go charge it, Well, I got a box cutter, fuck, Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Is that he brought a box cutter to a gunfight. And if that's what he did, I don't know. They didn't have to shoot him. You could have shot him in the leg, but they executed him. But hell, that's where they execute everybody, is in Cannon City. Everybody but that guy has been on death row for 24 years. So be put on death row or just go ahead and pop him right there on the street. I'm looking at some of his background information. If you want to raise a Robert Dodd, how do you do it? Well, you make sure he goes to Pueblo Community College. Pueblo Community College. So he, Pueblo Community College actually educated Robert Dodd. Now, he's, just retired. So it had been the community college and had been his teachers 20 or 30 years ago. And then that means he's of Pueblo, right? He came out of my county, and now he's, in Fremont County, covering up crimes and tampering with evidence, covering up crime, official misconduct. I can think of more crimes than the few misdemeanors, slap on the wrist that they thought of over there. That DA, she needs more money to, convict a misdemeanor? Oh, come on. Now, if it's a felony, okay, I might believe that, but you're just charging them with misdemeanors. Hell, you could probably plea bargain that out. After Pueblo Community College, so I don't actually know where his childhood is. It makes me think that he's from here because there's another thing with Pueblo. Alert security systems. So he was a security officer. He was like Omar Mateen. He was a rent-a-cop at the Pueblo Mall. So that's where he got his start, right? He's like, hey, I'm going to go to Pueblo Mall. I'm going to get a security guard. I'm going to be a rent-a-cop for a while. Then I'm going to go to Fremont County. And I don't know where he got his. It also says the Silver State Security Patrol. So Silver State Security Patrol. So he's part of 2 security outfits. And then Fremont County Sheriff's Office. So Fremont County looked at Robert Dodd and was like, Robert Dodd, you're exactly what we need. And, for the last how many years, that's what he's been doing. So Silver State Security Patrol, Security Systems, Pueblo Mall, Pueblo Community College. And then Fremont County Sheriff's Office, and now he lives on a nice retirement.